Okay, closing the boiler back up after the cleaning. I've already gone ahead and relayed the fire blanket on the bottom of the boiler after all the ash and soot was removed, and I've swung the door back shut, and now I'm going to finish. I've already started them off, but I'm going to finish replacing the bolts again using that 13mm socket. I'm going to replace the bolt that hold the door in place. Okay, a little more torque, but before closing that one all the way down, I'm going to give this one a few turns on this side, keep the pressure even on the door to get a better seal. Okay, and again, same thing on this side. Give it a couple of turns. You'll notice it'll start to get easier to turn as the door starts to settle into its grooves. Okay. And again, over to the other side. You can hear the door actually settle into its seat, and of course it gets very hard again to turn the bolts. Now finalize this bolt over here, a little bit more torque. Okay, you want to make sure you get a good seat, but you don't want to strip the bolt. That will be bad. So just hand tight with a little torque. Good. Okay. Now the front of the boiler is back together. Now here's something that I skipped over because as I showed you, I had done most of the unassembling and we're doing the reassembly now. I'm going to show you a step that I took over here. I had removed the wires from the reset button, which allowed the wires that go here and here, which allowed me to swing the door open freely. Those two wires I simply taped over here to the side with Scotch tape against the boiler. Now when I removed them, I did this little trick. I'm not so young anymore, so remembering things. I labeled them. What was what? The black and white goes to the back, or here, which would be the one closest to the boiler, and the red and black go to the front, the one furthest away from the boiler. Okay, so I'm just going to take these down, take the Scotch tape off. Set of wires back over. Now I'm going to uncover them and determine which goes where. Let's see. Pick this tape off. Here. Get this tape off. Okay. Now let's see. By my chart, the black and white, or the red and black, black and white, goes in the back, which will be back here. So I'm just going to go ahead, separate these wires, and put the red and the black here. I'm sorry, the black and the white in the back. Then use my Phillips head screwdriver to tighten that down. Hand tight. Good. And now my red and black, which go in the front, I'm going to place right here underneath this screw and tighten it down. Okay, now check with a light bit of pressure, make sure. Okay, that's good. Beautiful. That's all set. So we're going to move on and close off this top. For now, again, I'm going to recover it, just to keep anything from falling down inside. Recover this. And I'm going to take a look at what we got over here. Alright, let's reassign the lines and replace the filters. Okay, switch my lighting. Very good. Okay, this area here on the front of the burner, this is where this goes. This filter fits right on top of that. Let's see if we can. Oops, light goes around here, please. Good job. Now, this filter, this is the old filter. It's still clean, but I like to replace them regardless when I'm doing work and maintenance on it. This filter, of course, would go right over this piece. Here's the piece. Filter fits right over it, and it fits inside this little cup area, this little box here. When you push this on to here, this filter here is inside. But before you do that, you have to replace the gasket. Now the gasket is that little corkboard type deal here. What you want to do is line it up with the 4 screws. Mine is easy to remember because the 4 holes go on the bottom. So I would simply, if this were the new gasket, I'd simply just place this right over top. Slide this back until the gasket is flush, and the screws can go right inside. It also helps to guide me with the screws. So here, let you see what it looks like with the gasket actually in place. Here, the gasket just slips right over this, and as you can see, the holes here, your filter would go right on top of that with the gasket flush against, and your 4 hex screws, these guys, would go here in the box to close it all together. So you simply take this piece, place it back over like I'm going to show you now, and this will be held together using the 4 hex screws. Very simple. Here's a look at it again. When it's off, the filter's here in the center, the gasket is against the back. You replace both of those, slide this back in place, and then add your 4 screws.